Welcome to SportsBeat KC, the sports podcast of the Kansas City Star and KCUR. It's Tuesday, June 9th, and I'm Blair Kirchhoff. It's finally here. 8 years after North America won the bid, and 4 years after Kansas City was named a host city, the FIFA World Cup has arrived. The world's biggest and most popular sporting event begins Thursday with the opening game in Mexico City. A week from today is the first of 6 games scheduled for Kansas City. Defending champion Argentina will take on Algeria. Will Kansas City meet the moment? Columnists Sam McDowell and Vahe Gregorian share their ideas about what to expect. We've been talking World Cup for years. Now it's time to see what this party is all about. After our discussion, I'll tell you what else is on my radar in Kansas City sports this week. Hello, Vahe.
Hi, Blair.
Hi, Sam.
How's it going, Blair?
Been too long.
It's been too long for all of us to be here together talking sports in Kansas City.
I meant been too long since I've seen you. You mean it's been too long for us to be together?
It's been a while. I think we haven't had Sam on in a while. Sam's been pretty busy. He's a busy guy, busy man. We're all going to be pretty busy soon with the World Cup, which is starting this week. First game is Thursday in Mexico City. South Africa, I think. Mexico versus South Africa is the first game. It doesn't come to Kansas City until the following week, but Fan Fest will begin on Thursday, the first day that's open. So I think there'll be crowds here before Argentina and Algeria play on the 16th, and I think we'll start to feel it pretty soon. If you haven't started feeling it yet, I think we're going to feel it pretty soon. And
But truly, I just quickly interject that I have started feeling it with just snippets. But, we had this experience the other day, Blair, of being at the Argentina practice with 50 Argentine media, and the prevailing language on the bus over there and at the practice was certainly Spanish. And I've just had here around our Crown Center empire, bumped into people from Colombia, overheard people speaking Japanese. I feel like you can feel it closing in a pretty cool way. Just little bits and pieces, but still.
I like what they've done with the courtyard at the Crown Center, right? With the flags and other decor over there.
A lot of people posing for pictures, and it looks like almost part of a destination location.
So what do we think? What do we think this experience is going to be like here? Sam, are we ready for potentially 25,000 fans coming in each day that Fan Fest is open? What is that going to look like or be like? And is that a kind of a fair way to measure at least the early success of this event in Kansas City?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the three of us have been asking everybody that question for months now and haven't really gotten a concrete answer on it. So I guess my short answer is I'm eager to find out, because I really don't know what to expect. I think with Argentina playing on Tuesday and that being the first match in Kansas City, that whatever it's going to be, we'll probably start to feel it over the weekend. I think from what I understand, teams expect their fans to be at the side of their match, maybe as they call it, match day -2 or match day -3, something along those lines. And so that would be this weekend. And to what degree we're going to feel it, I just, like I said, I just don't think we've gotten clear data on exactly what to expect, other than it's going to be different. I don't think that the feeling downtown or out at the stadium is going to be something like that we've experienced before. But does that mean a mass of people or just a different culture? I don't know.
It is so hard to know. And to your point, Sam, I mean, I feel like we've sort of consistently been trying to ask and get a feel for it. And we get certain different data points, one of which is that I think last time we spoke with KC 2026, it's 150 countries, people from 150 countries registered to go to FanFest.
For one of the days.
At least one of the days. Over the course of 18 days, FanFest will be open. And, I do think you've got, I've learned this term in the last few months, activations there where, they'll have, whether it's sporting putting on a soccer clinic, a football clinic, I should say, or other, sponsors that are involved putting on sort of shows, and there'll be concerts. And I think things that bring the other cultures into it as well. So I'm persuaded that it's going to be pretty cool. And I think it looks pretty cool from the sneak preview we got last week. And I happened to walk by a couple of days later and saw the big 65-foot heart that people will walk through kind of in place. But it'll be disappointing if it's not pretty jammed every day. And I'm not sure I know that it will be jammed every day.
I'd like to see a little foot traffic downtown, not just people going from the buses up the hill to the Fan Fest, but, walking along Grand and Main and maybe down at the River Market and, Westport and the Plaza area. That's kind of what I'm hopeful to see.
Same here. And I feel like, I don't know if you guys got out today around here, but again, late last week, I was out walking around here a little bit, and it seems that they've extended what might be considered the Fan Fest zone out, 12, 16 blocks or so, because we've got signage outside that right outside in Crown Center that says what prohibited items are in there and sort of gets at the themes and what days it's open. So to your point, Blair, I do hope that becomes sort of part of priming the pump and that we get that density down here that we've seen bits and pieces, right? But not yet on anything that looks like density. And I don't really know what the latest hotel reports are. I know nationally that there was an understanding through I think a Forbes study that hotels are filling in as obviously prices have come down because of all the gouging. But I don't know what Kansas City's place in that has become, if it's more and more booked or just kind of flat.
I'll have some hotel information for you here in a second. But I think another sign for me is going to be when we see the buses start rolling through town, all over the metro, the 15 to 18 places in the metro area that are going to have bus service coming into downtown to the Fan Fest area, to the bus where it's 27th and Main is where the bus stop is going to be. And then, of course, the buses that are going to run from the airport to downtown.
Am I remembering right that was supposed to start in the last 48 hours, that it's actually already, and maybe in a way it's a practice run, but it's also, I think, to start accommodating people coming in?
Good question. I don't know that.
Yeah, I think it was right around early this week.
We'll have to see. Okay. About hotel prices. Just today, right, we're recording this on Monday, full week in the day before the first game in Kansas City. I went onto the Marriott site and got prices.
Another one bookmark, I think.
It's a favorite.
I'm sorry, what is your status? Titanium?
They actually have renamed it just Blair status.
And yet even I can't get a deal on a two-night stay. Two-night stay, June 15 and 16, in Kansas City at a Marriott property. And I kind of said within 15 miles of the stadium, you can get a room for as little as $219 for those 2 nights, $219 each night. That's in Shawnee at a property, a courtyard in Shawnee. Now, most of the hotels were between $400 and $500 a night. And I think that price has come down from, say, a month ago or 6 weeks ago. I think they were closer to $700, $800 a night.
I think they were. And Sam, you had an example, I think, of a not Marriott hotel somewhat near you that was $700 or $800 out a little east of us that surprised you that it was.
Yeah, a while ago. I haven't checked recently at all to see what that price is, though.
But that number seems more in line with what you'd expect for this, right? When it was $700 or $800 a night for a room in a city, a fine room in a city, I mean, that's just preposterous, especially here. $400 or $500, you can understand. It's probably, I'm guessing that's about double what they might usually be, or 100, 150 more. Seems like people would get those rooms.
And these are for the nights when Argentina, night before and the night of the game that Argentina plays. If you book that starting on the 5th, booked a room starting on the 15th and stayed 10 nights, the average price drops to below $300 a night. So that would take you through another World Cup game, up to a third World Cup game, because there's a game on the 25th here as well. So maybe, I guess the other surprise for me was there is availability. The city wasn't sold out of hotel rooms the night that Argentina plays.
Yeah.
Rooms are available almost every place. There were just a handful that had no vacancy.
What seems also extra interesting about that to me is that Kansas City has, in one way, a kind of intriguing benefit for this first game with both countries, Argentina and Algeria, base camping here. So you would think that that would mean not just match day +1, -1 on either end when people are coming in, but, a good few days before. Now, Algeria has its own issues with the visa matter where, if I understand correctly, that any Algerian citizen who wants to come to the United States for this has to pay a $15,000 bond up front. Seems like that might have a chilling effect.
Unless you have a ticket for the game.
Oh,
my understanding, if you
if
you have a ticket for the game, the bond was waived.
How about that?
But it forced you to buy a ticket. You're going to.
Yeah.
The other, what we called in a previous podcast, headwinds for this, the ticket pricing, and just the way FIFA went about the whole thing was damaging to the consumer. And I think that the games will be filled for the most part. Argentina, absolutely, that game will fill up. But the other, besides the hotels, it is the ticketing and the prices for the tickets. So those were, I think, totally mishandled by FIFA. But I looked at ticket pricing as well for today for the games that are in Kansas City, and for Argentina, Algeria, lowest price on ticketsforless.com, which is the Overland Park-based ticket broker, $882. Ecuador, Curacao on June 20th, $324. Tunisia, Netherlands on January 25th, $316. These are the cheapest. Algeria, Austria on June 27th, $207. The cheapest price for Chiefs Broncos season opener right now is $216. So for the price of a Chiefs pretty high profile opener against the Browns on Monday or Broncos on Monday Night Football, you can get a World Cup ticket for one of the group stage games. So that's not. I don't think the prices are. I think they're starting to do what ticket prices in America do. Right, the consumer always figures out a way to make it work, and you can go to a World Cup game for $200 here. I think that's okay. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, what did we hear last week that they're expecting only about 10% of the crowd to actually be from Kansas City? Like, that was actually a pretty low number to what I thought, but I wonder if maybe the prices you're mentioning increases that number itself.
I wonder if it does too, and I guess I hope so. I think that would add a little extra cool flavor for people who are going to try to make the most of this to actually get to some games, because I think for a long time it felt like just not really going to be an option.
Sam McDowell and Vahe Gregorian are here. We're talking World Cup. And one thing we haven't discussed on any of these shows recently is the prospect of Team USA at the World Cup. Their first game is Friday against Paraguay. And Sam, how do you break down their chances in the group? I see that as not a group of death, but a group of pretty good competitive countries here for them, and like a lot of 1-1 type games.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if they don't make it out of the group, I think it would be an absolute disaster given the opportunity this is. But it just seemed, I'm sure to the people involved in this World Cup, especially the people we talk to frequently about the Kansas City, they have been preparing for this forever. The same's true of the U.S. national team, but I don't know that they've taken advantage of the opportunity. They've had a coaching change. It seems like they've gone through multiple stylistic changes, and here they sit, and all of a sudden it's upon them, and I realized that, they had a great moment, a great goal, Robinson against Germany on the friendly over the weekend, but this team has not performed at a level to where you say, wow, the World Cup's coming at a great time for them. And age-wise, 4 years ago, it seemed like it was going to be terrific timing for them. And we're just inside of a week, and I still don't even know who's going to start for them. And I wonder if the coaching staff has figured out exactly who's going to be starting for them.
Australia and Turkey are the other teams in the group, and I think the U.S. has the highest FIFA ranking.
Yeah,
I think they're at 18 or something.
Paraguay had a pretty significant injury over the weekend as well. So, like I said, I mean, if they can't make it out of this group, I mean, it would put a real damper on this whole tournament from the United States perspective because, I mean, you look back, I guess it's been 30 years ago, and the World Cup is responsible for the soccer culture today, largely in America. I mean, part of the agreement was you have to start a league if we're going to give you the World Cup. And of course, the MLS began, what was it, a year and a half later, something, based on that World Cup. Like, that's the kind of momentum that this can and should generate for the entire country as a whole. But I just think part of that is contingent upon the U.S. national team not embarrassing itself in this tournament.
Oof, that would be tough.
Yeah.
Just the thought of it.
Do you think there's any chance that this team could be formidable enough to get to like a semifinal? Not like
No,
right.
no.
It's one of the reasons I'm asking that is I just suddenly got curious about how many times the host nation has actually won the World Cup. It's 6, and not since 1998, and it's just kind of interesting,
France.
right? A lot of France in 1998, nicely done, and our hometown Argentina squad in 78.
Just to be clear about what you're asking, like the U.S. hasn't advanced to the semifinal in a century.
Yeah,
like it's been that long. Like, why this team would be the one, I don't see it.
I'm really just bringing it up in the context of home nation and what that has meant historically, and a lot of times in Olympics there's a bump from home nation status.
No doubt.
There really is, and I don't suppose it really plays into this, except for like you said, Sam, you don't want to embarrass yourself in your home nation.
You want to get out of the group.
Yeah.
Right? Get out of the group
Yeah.
and feel, if you win a knockout stage, round of 32, I think you feel good. You get to the round of 16 and call it a great tournament for the U.S.
Yeah.
If they get that far. I know what Beasor's team did that, right? Didn't in 2014 in Brazil, they got out of the group. I think they won a 32 and got to the 16.
Well, it opened at this round of 16.
Because you're.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It was a 32-team tournament. Right.
Yeah,
This is the first year of the 48.
It opened at the round of 16. Yeah.
Okay. I think it was Belgium that knocked them out of that tournament. Anyway.
Yeah, and extra time, and Chris Wondolowski had a hell of a chance to advance.
Well, consider this too. Canada and Mexico also hosting. This event, and I think their groups favor their chances better than the U.S.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I think they have from a betting standpoint, a better chance of finishing first in their group than the U.S. does. So, well, the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was, so an international sport, an event, the biggest one is coming to our community, our sports-minded community. So our sports culture is going to meet this global sports phenomenon. I'm trying to make it a little relatable here, just comparing what's coming to what we already know exists here. So I thought if we took the 4 teams that are base camping here, Argentina, England, the Netherlands, and Algeria, and try to find a Kansas City sports equivalent to those nations. I'm hoping you'll play along. You don't have to. I mean, I could sit here and do it all by myself. and I have all weekend. But so I guess I'm just looking for confirmation.
Should we just say yay or nay? Yeah.
I think Argentina is the easiest one. The Kansas City equivalent to Argentina is the Chiefs. Argentina's won 3 World Cups, and even though the Royals, also multiple World Series winner, the Chiefs' success of recent years, they're powers in their sports right now, multiple champions, and I kind of like the Chiefs as
That's star power too with Messi and Mahomes.
absolutely.
Yeah. Who are they meeting as we speak? Won't there be some other connection between them? Like there was, I guess it was a very brief meeting they had when Messi played here in
Miami.
Was it 2 years ago already?
Yeah, I think it was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But he was at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, they're Adidas's most prominent athletes as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to think
They've met through that.
there's something. And don't we think Patrick, the sportsman, is, you've written extensively about that, Blair, about Patrick's love for all sports and how he just globetrots for things. Isn't he going to make something out of this home game for him?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. He'll be more people will see Patrick Mahomes on their TV screen at the Argentina game, assuming he's there, than have ever watched him before, including at the Super Bowl.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
What are the odds? I know there's a wedding coming up and all for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but do you think Travis Kelce wants to get to a World Cup game? And if he does, is Taylor with him? And you've got 2 of like the top 5 most known people on earth in the same stadium?
That would be pretty incredible.
I think it could happen, right? Do we know when the wedding is, Sam? I know you're on that beat.
This is all you. Just slide the recorder towards him. His favorite topic to talk about. As he's sitting here posing questions to the 2 people that haven't written about this.
I need to go to newspapers.com and see how many times you've mentioned her. I remember thinking you said you'd never had it. It's in like 7 of your stories.
That's about the facts I expect from you.
Anyway, interesting. I think it's really interesting, the picture, like
We know you
globality.
think it's interesting.
Yeah. Have I established that? Okay.
Continuing down the road of Kansas City sports equivalents that only I seem to be very, very interested in. But I'm going to see this thing through. We're going to beat this dead horse.
So we go to Argentina and the Chiefs.
Argentina, the Chiefs. That's right. Established. I like that one. All right. England has won a World Cup on home soil, 1966. Their only World Cup. That only there's been, I think it's 8 World Cup champions, or is it 10 champions, and 8 of them have won multiple. The only 2 nations that have only won it once are England and Spain. Everybody else that's won a World Cup has won it multiple times. I thought that was interesting. But
Yeah, I do too.
but what's the Kansas City sports equivalent for England? And they always a world power, seemingly always a world power, always kind of disappointing at the end. Let me put it this way: they get to Final Fours.
They
Here's your hint.
only not. So in '94 in the U.S., that's what's kind of crazy about England beating Kansas City is they didn't qualify in '94.
Wow.
But every other year they make it out of the group. They made the quarterfinals in 22, 4th place in 18, group stage in 14, round of 16 and 10, quarterfinals in 06 and 02. They've got other 4th place is in there. I mean, to your point, they're always in the mix.
So essentially out of the first weekend, unlike recent teams of the squad you may be thinking of.
Often a preseason number 1 in recent years. Yes, we are talking about KU basketball. I think, that's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I don't think you're overstating the point. I mean, if you look at, what sort of perennial name, often really in the mix.
Where I think Sporting could have made sense before these last.
Yeah.
The peak Peter Vermees years, they were frequently 1, 2, or 3 seed. They won it in 13. And other than that, they had a really long playoff streak. But 13 was the year that they broke through, and then other years they obviously won 3 other Open Cups where you thought they had a chance at MLS Cup, and they were always in the mix, but didn't win it other than that one.
They had a long stretch of
And obviously they won in 2000 as well.
right, as the Wizards.
It's just mean the Peter Vermees managerial tenure.
They had a long stretch of being one of the 3 to 5 best teams in the MLS for a long time, for more than a decade.
Yeah.
And you're right, and that I think of England that way. And listen, it's KU. That's the definition of KU basketball in the Larry Brown, Roy Williams, Bill Self eras.
Yeah.
Okay, how about the Netherlands? The Netherlands, 3-time World Cup finalists, no victory. I remember talking to Orange Suit Man for a podcast a month or so ago, and he was, said if the Netherlands ever wins a World Cup, he doesn't know how he'll react. He'll cry and cry and cry, and he's just they love their team. They cheer for their team. They follow their team. There's never the big payoff though at the end. And I'm wondering if that reminds you of any Kansas City area sports.
I would say your description sort of led me to water. I think about all the people I know that have been longtime Missouri fans, for instance, if that's perhaps what you're getting at, that would have exactly that reaction if, say, MU basketball ever got to a Final Four, or even if Tigers played for a national title. They've had these kind of interesting run-ups and then just absolutely gut-wrenching plummets that are, often of a cruel variety. Now, let's not discount the 1954 College World Series champion Tigers, led by Norm Stewart. Well, not necessarily led by, but he was a part of that team. And I think a 65
the first indoor track champion, NCAA indoor track champion. Yep.
Having said that, it reminds me a little bit of an old Ziggy comic, Blair. You might remember those. Sam probably didn't read comics, but where he's doing an interview and it says, "Any awards or honors since the third grade spelling bee, Mr. Ziggy?" So it's been a while for the Tigers, and I do believe if ever there's that kind of breakthrough, I mean, look out for the celebration.
Well, if we were in Amsterdam and speaking at the Dutch club,
at the flea market,
at the flea market, yeah, I think we'd have similar thoughts.
Oh my God!
So, all right, let's wrap. Can't forget about Algeria. Algeria, I've seen some predictions for the World Cup, and that Algeria's a plucky team. I mean, they're kind of don't underestimate this Algerian team. Could win a game, certainly could get out of the group, and maybe could do some damage, pull off an upset. And I don't know, who do they remind you of? Anybody?
Sam's just swatting you down.
Yeah, just not partaking.
It's interesting. There's something here. I'm trying to figure out what really connects most. What do you got, Sam?
So what was your description of that?
Plucky, kind of gritty underdog. Plays kind of punches above its weight class a little bit. I think. Where are they ranked internationally? Are they in the 40s or? Anyway, I think that they're a team that could pull off an upset or two, get out of the group stage, and maybe get to the 16. 28. Yeah.
Is it K-State-ish?
K-State football, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe a little K-State football. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, yeah, does maybe more with less.
Tell you what, they certainly, in the last, largely over the last quarter century plus, since most of Bill Snyder's time and most of Chris Kleiman's time, I think you'd feel that way about them. More with less is a great way to put it for that program in a lot of ways, for a lot of years.
And we'll see them twice in Kansas City. So, all right. That was a conversation, as always, with Sam McDowell and Vahe Gregorian.
Wait a minute, didn't you leave out a word or two? Wasn't it great? Where was great? Conversation. Thanks for a job done.
Here's what's on my radar in Kansas City sports. the Chiefs are a couple days away from their summer break. One final week of mandatory minicamp remains, concluding Thursday, and that'll be it until training camp begins in late July. The Chiefs made some news this week by signing old friend L'Jarius Sneed. He entered the league as a fourth-round pick in the 2020 draft and was a key member of the secondary for the Chiefs' Super Bowl 57 and 58 championship teams. Sneed spent the previous 2 seasons with the Tennessee Titans. He joins a secondary that's experienced quite a shakeup after last season with the losses of Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson. It'll be interesting to see where Sneed fits in with a cornerback group that includes first-round pick Mansour Delane and second-year pro Noah Williams, along with veteran Christian Fulton. I think Sneed comes in as a starter. Not so bad for the Royals recently. They're coming off a 5-5 road trip, opening a homestand today against the Texas Rangers, followed by the Houston Astros. The Royals have gotten more timely hitting lately, and they may have found a new closer in Alex Lang. Look, they're still 12 games under 500 and have plenty of work remaining to climb into playoff contention, but there's a glimmer of hope based on last week's results. That'll do it for today. Thanks to our SportsBeat KC producers, Gabriella Lacey and Suzanne Hogan, and to our editors, Hannah Wise, Jeff Rosen, and Scott Chasen. Hey, we always love hearing from you. Leave us a rating or review if you're so moved.